Modules 3 and 4, colon use. First, let's define a colon. A colon, which looks like this, is used to introduce a list or an example. Essentially, the colon is a punctuation mark that signals an introduction. In this way, it is fundamentally different, although often confused with the semicolon. And semicolons act as periods. Let's look at a few examples. The first example is an example of a colon which signals the introduction of a list. Please send the following students to the office immediately, colon, Mary, Jane, Bob, Jim, Dave, and Sue. The second and third examples have a colon introducing an example. Number 2, we hired Bob for one reason, his technical expertise. And number 3, my boss is so mean that she must be one of the following, bitter or crazy. In the second example, his technical expertise is an example of what comes before the colon. It helps explain what comes before the colon, the word group that comes before the colon. And the same occurs in question number 3. In all 3 examples, the colon signals an introduction of information. Now, a helpful hint. When do we use a colon when we introduce, and when do we not use a colon when we introduce? Do not use a colon if the group of words in front of the colon is not a grammatically complete standalone clause. For example, number 1, 2 things that annoy me are answering machines and door-to-door salespeople. This sentence is incorrect. It's an incorrect use of a colon. We're tempted to use a colon because we're introducing some examples. However, the word group that comes before the examples, answering machines and door-to-door salespeople, is not a grammatically complete standalone clause. In other words, we need some information after this linking verb. So we've made it good in example number 2. 2 things that annoy me are answering machines and door-to-door salespeople. Correct. If we want to use a colon for this idea, number 3 is a correct use of a colon. 2 things annoy me, answering machines and door-to-door salespeople. Here, we're introducing some examples, and the other criteria for the use of a colon is met. In front of the colon is a word group that is a grammatically complete standalone clause. 2 things annoy me.